Welcome to the Ethiopian Construction Channel. We are glad to have you here. Our channel is dedicated to delivering professional, reliable, and high-quality construction content. We work with experienced professionals in the construction industry to share practical knowledge, modern techniques, and real project insights. Let us learn together. The relationship between the city, building, and structure is the foundation of architecture and urban design. A city is a living system made up of people, activities, culture, and movement. It provides the context in which architecture exists. Cities shape how buildings are placed, used, and experienced. A building acts as the interface between the city and the people. It responds to the city's needs such as housing, work, education, and recreation while also shaping the city's character through its form, scale, and function. The structure is the backbone of the building. It ensures stability, safety, and durability. Structure allows buildings to stand, span, and rise, but it also influences space, aesthetics, and efficiency. These three elements are interconnected. The city influences building design, the building defines urban space, and the structure makes both possible. When they work together harmoniously, they create cities that are functional, safe, and meaningful for human life. In this video, we will explore the powerful relationship between buildings and cities, how they shape each other, and how this connection defines the spaces we call home. When we think about cities, we often picture skylines, streets, and famous landmarks. But have you ever stopped to think about what truly makes a city a city? A city is not just a collection of buildings placed side by side. And a building is not just an isolated structure of concrete, glass, or steel. Buildings and cities are deeply connected. They grow together, influence each other, and shape the way we live, move, and feel. Every building tells a story of culture, technology, and human needs. And together, these stories form the identity of a city. At the same time, the city gives buildings their meaning. It defines their purpose, their function, and their life. A home feels different in a quiet town than in a busy metropolis. An office tower means something else when surrounded by history, people, and movement. Cities are living systems. They breathe through their streets, speak through their architecture, and evolve through time. Every city begins with a building. Homes, offices, schools, hospitals, shops, and cultural spaces come together to create urban life. These buildings are more than structures. They are the basic units of a city. They give shape to our daily routines, our work, our learning, and our communities. Buildings define streets and pathways. They frame public spaces where people meet, walk, and gather. They form neighborhoods, each with its own character and identity. Without buildings, there is no city, only empty land. It is the presence of buildings that transforms space into place. Every building plays a role. A home provides shelter and belonging. A school shapes future generations. A hospital protects life. A shop supports everyday needs. Together, they create a living urban system. Buildings also influence how people move through the city. They guide traffic, create walkable streets, and determine where people stop, rest, and interact. From the smallest house to the tallest tower, each building contributes to how a city functions and feels. Understanding cities begins with understanding buildings. Because buildings are not just part of the city, they are what make a city possible. A city is not just a collection of buildings placed side by side. And a building is not just an isolated structure of concrete, glass, or steel. Cities do not just contain buildings, they shape them. The design of every building is strongly influenced by the city around it. Climate, culture, economy, population density, and local regulations all play a major role in how buildings are designed. In dense cities where land is limited, buildings grow vertically. Tall towers and high-rise structures become a solution to limited space and growing populations. In historic cities, architecture tells the story of the past. Strict regulations protect traditional styles, materials, and proportions, ensuring that new buildings respect cultural heritage. Climate is another powerful influence. In hot cities, buildings are designed with shading, natural ventilation, and reflective materials to reduce heat. In colder regions, buildings focus on insulation and compact forms to retain warmth. Economic conditions also matter. Commercial cities encourage office buildings and mixed-use developments, while residential cities focus on housing and community spaces. Every city has unique needs and challenges. Buildings respond to these conditions, adapting to serve the people who live and work there. In this way, architecture becomes a reflection of the city itself, shaped by its environment, its culture, and its way of life. Every building tells a story of culture, technology, and human needs. And together, these stories form the identity of a city. Buildings do more than fill space. They shape the character and identity of a city. Often, it is architecture that comes to mind when we think about a place. Iconic buildings define a city's image. Landmarks, skylines, and historic structures become symbols that represent the city to the world. They hold stories, memories, and cultural meaning passed through generations. These buildings give cities a recognizable identity. They help us remember places, feel connected to history, and understand a city's values and ambitions. But a city is not shaped by landmarks alone. Everyday buildings play an equally important role. At the same time, the city gives buildings their meaning. It defines their purpose, their function, and their life. Houses, shops, apartments, and small offices form the backdrop of daily life. They shape how people move through streets, interact with neighbors, and experience the city every single day. The rhythm of doors, windows, balconies, and storefronts creates the human scale of the city. These ordinary buildings influence comfort, safety, and a sense of belonging. Together, iconic architecture and everyday structures work as one. They define the mood, personality, and atmosphere of urban life. In the end, buildings are not just structures, they are the memory of the city and the experience of those who live within it. Cities are living systems. They breathe through their streets, speak through their architecture, and evolve through time. Buildings are not just physical structures, they shape how people interact with each other. The way a building is designed can encourage community, safety, and social life, or create isolation and distance. Good design brings people together. Open spaces, walkable streets, shared courtyards, and inviting entrances create opportunities for connection. They make cities feel alive and welcoming. Poor design can do the opposite. Closed layouts, dark spaces, and disconnected areas can reduce interaction and make people feel isolated. Architecture directly affects how comfortable and safe people feel in their surroundings. Public buildings play a powerful social role. Libraries, schools, community centers, and cultural spaces act as meeting points where people from different backgrounds come together. Mixed-use spaces strengthen urban life. When homes, shops, offices, and public areas exist side by side, cities become more active, social, and resilient. At the same time, cities provide the social and cultural context that buildings serve. Architecture reflects local traditions, lifestyles, and values. A building designed for one culture may feel completely different in another. Together, buildings and cities shape social life. They influence how people meet, communicate, and form communities. In the end, architecture is not just about design. It is about people, culture, and the connections that define urban life. To summarize, the relationship between buildings and cities is mutual and inseparable. One cannot exist meaningfully without the other. Buildings form the physical body of the city. They create streets, neighborhoods, skylines, and spaces where life unfolds. At the same time, the city gives buildings their purpose and meaning. It defines how they are used, how they are experienced, and how they evolve over time. When buildings and cities are designed in isolation, urban life suffers. But when they are planned together, thoughtfully and responsibly, cities become more functional, inclusive, and human-centered. Good urban design creates places that support community, culture, and well-being. It encourages interaction, safety, and a sense of belonging. As cities continue to grow, the choices we make in design matter more than ever. Every building becomes part of a larger system shaping the future of urban life. By understanding the connection between buildings and cities, we can create environments that are not only efficient, but also meaningful, livable, and sustainable, because in the end, better buildings create better cities, and better cities create better lives. Thank you for watching. We hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you enjoyed the content, like the video, share it with others. Subscribe to our channel for more professional construction content.